Shining bright lotus.
Yeah, so the background hum, this is a good talk to have after we've sat because we are sitting there looking at the background hum. Whatever's happening during the sit, rehearsal, the planning. Oh, I'm getting ready to teach now. You know, Even after 40 years of meditating, there's still this like low grade effort in the background running. Of course, most people don't even know it's there. In fact, there's so many layers of it. It's like when you're traveling and you're in Mexico or something and it's really hot out and you're hanging out in your hotel room and you just decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to turn the air conditioner off. And there's like that vacuum. The fan turns off and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how much that was bothering me until it was gone. Most people confuse that hum with being alive. It's this thing that happens right after the bell rings, before you open your eyes. We all know it. It's this reassembly of you. This is what we're talking about today. When I was doing my priest training, we uh, we read a book called The Record of Linji. Linji was a wild, wacky character. We're not going to get into him and all the craziness with that guy, but he does have a very good quote that's additive here. Seekers of the way, in Buddhism, there no effort is necessary. All one has to do is nothing. Move your bowels, piss, get dressed, eat, lie down when tired. The fool will laugh at me, but the wise will understand. I don't know, maybe I should have censored his direct quote, but this is the thing. This is the trap of modern day, the additive trap. Most self work is additive. Read another book, hire another coach, try another framework, layers and layers and layers of insight. You're building this whole cathedral of understanding more and more. And for most people that I talk to, they're still stuck, right? In fact, the trap they're in is more sophisticated. It's harder to get out of. Every new insight gets absorbed into this narrator. Oh, I have an attachment wound. The story nods. Very compassionate story. Oh, it's a pendulum for those trans surfers out there. And yeah, the story's like, yeah, yeah, it is. Thank you. Oh, maybe I need more nervous system work. Yes, yes, you do. Uh-huh. Same narrator, different content. We're just decorating the cage even more elaborately. I've come to realize that these frameworks and things they work up to a certain point. They're good. They like we got to build something up to a point, but then we got to like kick out the foundation and let it all fall down. Right. The Satori is not any of that. The story is the pattern. Here's what the hum is really. It's the energy cost. We have these like brains that are running stuff. It's a neural network, all sorts of things going through them. Well, all of that has a cost, right? And some people might not know, but there is this background process keeping you coherent, even in meditation, even when you finally drop. There's this sense of self, but not in the sense that most people talk about the sense of self, my sense of self, who I think I am, blah, blah, blah. Even that is not even quite it. There's actually a somatic sensory experience. There's a sensation that's been so pervasive, so persistent that you don't even know it's there, just like the air conditioner. That's that's what's in the way of so-called non-duality. My perspective, non-duality is just another sensation, another sort of a different sensory experience of reality. It's not anything fantastic. It's just a different model, a different experience. The background hums off. It's not the emotions, it's not the events, it's the narrator shutting off. In tech, like we've got the CPU idea, right? Everyone knows what a CPU is. Yeah. Just imagine this background process because consuming 90% of the CPU and you don't even know it's running. You know, it, if you look at the Diamond Sutra or even the one that we did today, right? The Heart Sutra, they're pointing to this idea of developing a mind that clings to nothing. That's 6 words. That's the whole teaching. The hum is clinging to the process of not clinging. So again, we're adding, and people memorize these words, and that's just another framework. Here's another framework, dependent origination. Buddha was pointing at this same thing, not the content of the suffering, not my traumas, but the machinery that generates it, right? This is the this is so hard to talk about to anyone. I'm glad you guys are here because I think you guys get it. This identity, this background hum is a stabilization strategy. So we have this little process in our minds. We've evolved to not like uncertainty. I don't know who I am. How hard was that in Mondo Zen the first time you did it to answer who are you and to say I don't know? Right? Some people it just takes forever to get to I don't know. It's because inherently we've evolved to dislike, to avoid uncertainty. Right? And the story is, oh, your ego's been running from this realization its whole life. It's like, yeah, this is what it's built to do is to reduce uncertainty because that kept us safe. Uncertainty could mean death when you're living in a cave or in the jungle or whatever. But for us so-called evolved beings, we're not there anymore. We can actually sit in unknowing, in not knowing. in uncertainty. We can play with uncertainty and kind of find out, well, how much of myself is layered on top of this avoiding uncertainty thing? When I was in Costa Rica, I did, what did I do? I did like a month of silence, but it wasn't silence alone. There was some koan work, dyad koan stuff, and it was mixed group, male and female. And I would notice this like leaning towards some people, leaning away, the mind picking objects out of the field. I like this person. I don't like that person. And as soon as some process would determine like dislike, the narrator, this background hum, fires up and says, okay, what are we going to do about it? We're going to make, we need to either take action. Well, oh no, we can't take action because we're in this container. Well, we're going to make up stories about it then instead to try and reduce the uncertainty of the situation in an object that's important. Important objects need to be resolved. People, things, situations. And this is what drives all of this effort. The uncomfortable part of this for a room full of Zen people is that Zen itself can become that hum, you know? Oh, I'm the meditator. I'm the one who sees through things. I'm the one doing the work. Linji also said if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. That also means Zen. That also means this talk, the precepts, all of it, the framework, everything we're adding at some point has to be killed, has to be dismantled, has to be questioned, seen through. It's a tool. It's a what was the Buddha meets the guy with a boat carrying it on his head. And it's like Buddha's like, well, why are you carrying that boat? And the guy's like, well, I crossed the river with this boat. It's really handy. And it was like, okay, but you're walking up a hill now. The river's over there. Do you still really need to carry that boat on your head, dude? Oh, I guess not. Let me put this down. Right. So this isn't, not everyone needs to like listen to this talk. And I think that's why we have the people in the room that we do. There's a certain stage where you do need to add more stuff. You do need effort, right? This shouldn't be confused with non-effort. But for those of you who've been efforting, inciting, building for so long, narrative starvation is the move. Not reframing, that's coaching. Not affirming, that's metaphysics. Starving, right? What are we doing when we're in zazen? We're withdrawing our attention over and over again. Our attention gets trapped. We're in the narrative. We're watching, and then at some point we withdraw. We don't fight it, right? That's more engagement. It's putting more energy into it. We just simply redirect our attention to something else. But at some point, the thing that's redirecting the attention also needs the attention redirected from it. Ming said, "The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences." So that's not apathy. It's just not feeding the narrator, right? It's letting go of importance of having an opinion about what's happening. It's not that important to have an opinion. What with a bell or with what's happening in front of you. So instead of I need to figure this out, you can sit into I don't need to know yet, right? To catch yourselves making up stories to reduce uncertainty. Actually, you know what? I don't need to reduce uncertainty. I can just let something exist in uncertainty. This is the this is the portal I've discovered. Gateless gate is really letting go of that part. And I think this is where I don't know and not knowing. This is kind of core. Like the teachings are all there. It's just about understanding how to look at them. Not that we need more teachings, they're all there, right? It's just about what is the experience of these teachings. So, once again, this isn't against effort. And I have to say this because so many people I see today who get into spiritual practice believe that they can get somewhere without doing anything. Right? But building a house requires doing things. Learning a skill requires doing things. Showing up for people requires doing things. So I'm not talking about starving ourselves of all effort of showing up in the world. I'm talking about starving the effort that is feeding the self concept while still showing up in the world, while still doing things, doing talks, showing up for your family, actually trying to achieve something, learn something new, reading a book. It's fine. I'm not saying don't read, don't learn. I'm saying watch what those are adding to. Careful who's absorbing those and for what reason.
Shining bright lotus.